Welcome back to First Verse with Steve and Marissa. Woo woo. Okay. Um, I found out some interesting stuff about the mountain elevations. So the mountain elevations where the king took Balaam weren't like Pikes Peak in Colorado.
They pale in comparison.
Very much. Like their
'Cause
elevations were
Pikes Peak is like 14,000
yeah.
and change above
Yeah, you can see
the
hundreds of
sea
miles.
level. Mount Pisgah was what, 2,600
Yeah, something like
above
that.
sea level?
Like a fraction of it.
Yeah.
A seventh of it. So not like that, but you know, if you're in the flatlands like where we are in the Permian Basin, anytime you're on shoot, you can like be looking on the upstairs balcony of someone's house. You're like, I can see everything from here because it's so flat.
Mm-hmm.
But I found a video, and linking this stuff is crazy. So let me just do this. See if you can see. That's what you can kind of see from up there. Thank you. I needed that. So you can see a fair amount, and you can see what they saw, which is quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I thought that was neat. Starting in
Chapter 24, verse
chapter
1.
24, verse 1.
Now when Balaam...
After you. I want to drink my coffee.
Okay. Well then. Now when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he did not resort to sorcery as at other times, but turned his face toward the desert. We don't fully know what that's meaning. Like if the previous times he did business with Balak, he was participating in sorcery or not. So we're going to have to do some research on that one and get back to you.
We haven't ruled that out yet, but he comes up in scripture later on in chapter 30 that sheds a little bit more light on his character.
Then he dies in chapter 31.
And then he dies because, well, we'll just have to see. Spoilers.
Sorry. Not sorry. When Balaam looked out and saw Israel encamped tribe by tribe, the Spirit of God came upon him, and he uttered his oracle. The oracle of Balaam son of Beor, the oracle of one whose eyes sees clearly, the oracle of one who hears the words of God, who sees a vision from the Almighty, who falls prostrate, and whose eyes are opened. Prostrate meaning like you're submitting yourself to God and putting yourself in a position of worship. Like you're not trying to put yourself above God. So like people who bow down. Let's see. My notes on Almighty say it could have been Shaddai as well. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. Verse 6. Like valleys they spread out, like gardens beside a river, like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedars beside the waters. Water will flow from their buckets, their seed will have abundant water. Their king will be greater than Agag. Where did we talk about Agag?
King Agag was, I think, a king that the prophet Samuel kills. So a bunch of kings are kind of named the same king after a while.
Wait, but that doesn't...
I know it doesn't...
Oh, okay. I have a note about it, but we'll get to it in a sec. Their king will be greater than Agag. Their kingdom will be exalted. God brought them out of Egypt. They have the strength of a wild ox. They devour hostile nations and break their bones in pieces. Ooh, that's quite the imagery.
Bone break is something else. Pieces are...
Yeah, into pieces. Their arrows, they pierce... With their arrows, they pierce them. Like a lion, they crouch down and lie down. Like a lioness who dares to rouse them. May those who bless you be blessed, and those who curse you be cursed.
Yeah, this is where it's like, return to sender.
Right. Then Balak's anger burned against Balaam. He struck his hands together and said to him, I summoned you to curse my enemies, but you have blessed them these 3 times. Now leave at once and go home. I said I would reward you handsomely, but the Lord has kept you from being rewarded. No, you kept you from rewarding him. Verse 12. Balaam answered Balak, did I not tell you the messenger sent me? Even if Balak gave me his palace filled with silver and gold, I could not do anything of my own accord, good or bad, to go beyond the command of the Lord. And I must say only what the Lord says. Now I am going back to my people, but come, let me warn you of what this people will do to your people in the days to come.
Okay,
I'm going to do a brief pause there. So, you know how in Egypt the king is always called Pharaoh?
Yeah.
So apparently, Agag was the title for the king of the Amalekites.
Okay.
The same way that the Egyptians say Pharaoh as their king.
So King Agag is saying king.
Yeah.
King Pharaoh.
So it's just whoever was king of the Amalekites at the time.
Gotcha.
Not the name of the king. But obviously Saul messed that up. But
hey, actually like Saul to some degree. He started out very well.
He did. And then he just went off his way.
Yeah.
That was really the only, oh wait, I've got one more note. Balaam's motives were not correct. And blessing Israel, he acted with integrity. God's message had so filled him that Balaam spoke the truth. In so doing, he forfeited the reward that had lured him to speak in the first place. I mean, the reward that, caused his donkey to, crush his foot. Dude, you're that obsessed over getting some money from this king that your donkey's I'm just going to crush your foot.
Yeah, the payout doesn't really...
No.
Yeah. I have an interesting note at verse... Nope, we're not there yet. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There's not a
Balaam
whole
said
lot
to
of notes for
Balak-
this section. Do you want to read the 4th oracle?
I will, actually, but a quick note about the part in chapter 23, verse 23, where it says, for there's no sorcery against Jacob, nor any divination against Israel. That means that there's no witchcraft that is powerful than God.
Mm-hmm.
They
can use all their powers,
Yeah.
and they're still not going to be anywhere close
all
to
of your
God's
powers
power.
combined maybe equals a 5 on the Richter scale, and God isn't even 10. He's like 1 bajillion compared to all that stuff. So, nah, I gotta do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
Hey, oh my gosh, come on.
It's good. Okay, verse 15. So he took up his oracle and he said, so this is Balaam's 4th prophecy. The utterance of Balaam, the son of Beor, and the utterance of the man whose eyes are opened, the utterance of him who hears the words of God and has the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down with eyes wide open. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and a batter will batter the brow of Moab, and destroy the sons of tumult. Whoa. This is a prophecy of destruction. And verse 18, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also, his enemies, shall be a possession, while Israel does valiantly. Out of Jacob one shall have dominion, and destroy the remains of the city. Then he looked on Amalek. Is there a note there? Because Amalek is another one of them names.
Let's see, verse 20. No, I don't have a note on it. Maybe it's just the name of their king, the same way that Agag is the. I don't know.
See, my note says Amalek was a descendant of Esau.
Oh, okay.
The Amalekites were the first to fight against Israel when coming out of Egypt. We remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were considered to be the first of the nations here.
Okay.
The prophecy of Balaam is the same as the one Moses gave regarding complete destruction of the Amalekites. The nation was destroyed by Saul, and the remnant was destroyed by the Simeonites in 1 Chronicles chapter 4. That's awesome.
Cool.
Okay, verse 20. Then he looked on Amalek, and he took up his oracle and said, Amalek was the first among the nations, but shall be last until he perishes. Then he looked at the Kenites, and he took up his oracle and said, Firm is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock. Nevertheless, Cain shall be burned. How long until Asher carries you away captive? These are interesting names that we got to go back and look at.
Mm-hmm.
Then he took up his oracle and said, Alas, who shall live when God does this? But ships shall come from the coasts of Cyprus, and shall afflict Asher and affect Eber, and so shall Amalek until he perishes. So Balaam rose and departed and returned to his place. Balak also went his way.
Mine says they will subdue Asher and Eber, but they too will come to ruin.
I wonder who Asher and Eber are. Okay, so we got Asher, Eber, anybody else? The Kenites, Cain.
It says sons of Sheth could also mean all the noisy boasters. And then who can live with God? God does this is talking about a people who will gather from the north.
Okay, so this is the 15th prophecy in verse 20. Okay, we got that. So the Kenites here were a branch of the Midianites, not the same as those mentioned in Genesis 15:18. They had a rocky or mountain stronghold which seemed impregnable, but Balaam predicted their overthrow and captivity to Assyria. Moses' father-in-law is also called a Kenite. Interesting. So, okay. The captivity Balaam referred to here was that the 10 tribes and their allies, and later the remaining Jews who were taken to Babylon. So this is some far out stuff.
He probably had no concept for what he was speaking. He just spoke it.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the best prophecy works.
Because like so many of Isaiah's prophecies are clearly about Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But he probably didn't have any picture of what Jesus would be.
Nope. He probably had a decent idea. I don't know. It's
right.
I think
Isaiah... Like, picture meaning, like, I don't know that he, like, saw physically, like, who Jesus would be, you know?
I think he was, because I think Isaiah was one of these seeing
one of the seeing prophets, not just hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you see it and you hear it and you're trying to put it on page, I've had stuff like that myself. Well, I will see something so clear, but getting it to the person that it needs to be, they're like, Steve, did you hear that correctly? Yeah, I heard it correctly. Are you receiving it? And it's difficult to do, but you can pick up the pieces and figure it out. Okay.
What about Asher and Eber in verse 24?
So I had to do a search for that. So Asher was originally a son of Shem, Noah's son. What?
Oh, I'm just seeing if
Okay.
this is talking about it.
Talking about here, if you want to do that. So Asher was a son of Shem in Genesis 10. His name later became associated with Assyria and the Assyrian people, who we know to be Syria today. Let's see. Eber. Eber is an actual ancestor in Genesis described from Shem through Arphaxad and Shelah. Abraham eventually comes through Eber's son Peleg, making Eber an ancestor of Abraham, Israel, and several related Semitic peoples. Genesis specifically calls Shem the ancestor of the sons or descendants of Eber. Interesting. So, Eber may mean the broader descendants of Eber, or perhaps the Hebrew Semitic peoples associated with that line, including Israel.
Cool.
Many translations are they're confidently saying it's the Hebrew people, but it's still somewhat uncertain. So the Kenites were closely associated with Moses' family and later friendly toward Israel. Here's where it gets kind of interesting. Judges identifies the Kenites with the descendants of Hobab, Moses' father-in-law or brother-in-law, depending on how the Hebrew kinship term is understood, which we talked about that weeks ago, where we're just kind of like, who is this guy? Let's see. Depending on how the Hebrew kinship... Okay, so later, some Kenites lived among or near the Amalekites. This explains Saul's unusual actions centuries later. Before attacking Amalek, Saul warns the Kenites to get out of the way because they had shown kindness to Israel. Do you remember that? I remember that. It was neat.
Not really, but
I remember that. So, okay, Cain. So Cain is spelled with a K. Kain. This almost certainly refers to the Kenite people themselves, not Adam and Eve's son. There's a strong biblical evidence for this in Judges 4:11, which describes Heber, the Kenite, as having separated from Cain, which translations, brother, just give me the simple.
right, yeah, like this is
Speak to
very
me,
drawn out.
Speak to me as if I were 10 years old. Just give me the facts. So the Kenites are the people. Cain is one of the ancestors of the Kenites.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just keep that there.
I've got one more note.
Okay.
It says the star out of Jacob is often thought to refer to the coming Messiah.
I thought that too.
It was probably this prophecy that convinced the Magi to travel to Israel to search for the baby Jesus. It seems strange that God would use a sorcerer like Balaam to foretell the coming of the Messiah, but this teaches us that God can use anything or anyone to accomplish his plans. By using a sorcerer, God did not make sorcery acceptable. In fact, the Bible condemns it in several places. Rather, God showed his ultimate sovereignty over good and evil. Like, that is really a power move on God's part. Like, you think I only speak through my people? Let me show you who I can speak through.
I spoke through a donkey like the other day.
Yeah.
You don't think I can speak through you too?
Yeah. But I don't really have anything else on this chapter.
Nah, we should wrap things up. Love you. Talk to you next time. Bye.